What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, the return of the OG Avengers towards the end of the multiverse saga, or say in Avengers Secret Wars, is something that's basically been in the rumor mill and since 2019's Avengers Endgame conclusion, but that's where it's lived, the rumor mill. And while the rumor mill actually has a great track record, that's why channels like mine exist, it was a lot more shocking when a mainstream media outlet in Variety and late last year confirmed that Marvel Studios was trying to do just that, bring back the OGs like Natasha Romanoff, Tony Stark, and Steve Rogers, with the hopes of resurrecting them for the end of the multiverse saga and resurrecting the box office. Now, we only got to live in the glow of that story for about a week because, again, a week later and on the red carpet, Kevin Feige made sure to address this and say they would never want to bring back Tony Stark magically and undo everything they had earned with his sacrifice in Avengers Endgame. Well, Robert Downey Jr. right now is on the campaign trail for an Oscar for supporting actor for Oppenheimer, an Oscar nomination he's widely expected to get. And on a recent podcast with Rob Lowe, had some very interesting verbiage when his phone rang and was asked if it was Marvel Studios. We're going to talk about exactly what he said, what Rob Lowe said in response to that, what Robert Downey Jr. had to say in appraisal of some of his best acting in Marvel Studios. Then we're also going to break it down on whether or not Kevin Feige was telling the truth about not wanting to bring him back and whether or not this is even something Marvel Studios should do. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner. In fact, we're giving one away for every Marvel drop this year. Again, all you got to do be a sub, leave a comment if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this headline actually broke over the weekend, and some people were trying to put a spin on it because of what Robert Downey Jr. said. We're going to break this down off the article on Variety under the headline, Robert Downey Jr. says his great Marvel acting went unnoticed because of the genre, where they go on to report, quote, Robert Downey Jr. appeared on Rob Lowe's Literally podcast and said that his run as Tony Stark, Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe marked some of his best acting of his career, but, quote, went a little bit unnoticed because of the genre. The Oscar nominee played the character for 11 years, exiting the MCU in 2019's Avengers Endgame. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said last month that he won't be asking Robert Downey Jr. to return to the MCU. As to preserve Tony Stark's emotional ending, we all worked very hard for many, many years to get that, and we would never want to, quote, magically undo it in any way, he said. But that hasn't stopped the rumors from circulating that Marvel desperately wants Iron Man back to help restore the MCU to its glory days. Robert Downey Jr.'s phone started ringing during the recording of the Literally podcast, prompting Lowe to ask, is that some Marvel stuff? Are you going to break some stories here? Robert Downey Jr. responded, quote, not just yet. Now, I know there are a lot of ways to take that. He specifically said, not just yet. And even if you take the word just out and he said not yet, if that's an honest response, he means that at some point, it might be Marvel on the phone, but he's not going there yet. And I think that is a lot more likely where talks would have left off between him and Marvel the last time he talked to them. And I want to believe Kevin Feige at face value, that he doesn't want to bring back Tony Stark. I think it is a terrible idea. By all accounts, you still have to look at Avengers Secret Wars for what it is. It is a multiversal film that's meant to pay homage and tribute to any legacy actor that's ever played a Marvel character significantly in any Marvel franchise. And so through that prism, I'm not too sure how it's any different for Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man or even Steve Rogers, Chris Evans to return in the final film than it is for Sir Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart, and Hugh Jackman. And for those last two, they've died many more times on screen than, say, Tony Stark has. And, you know, in the comics, guys, no one ever stayed dead. They were always coming back. That's part of the problem and why Marvel Studios is most likely headed for a soft reboot. And so since they're going to close the book for so many of these legacy actors, where I do expect many deaths to come for OG characters like, say, Thor, etc., I just think the opportunity to cash in on bringing Robert Downey Jr. back, and forgive me if I've said this a million times at the channel, but it's just like any band announcing their retirement so that they can come out of retirement and sell 1 million tickets. It's like any quarterback who's been off the field for a year or two or still has it in them, and by the time they actually get around to Avengers Secret Wars, it'll probably have been about 10 years. I would expect Kevin Feige to say nothing else, especially in this moment where they haven't confirmed bringing him back at all. Yeah, of course you would deny it and say that's something magical, that's something special, we're going to leave it alone. but Deadpool and Wolverine are quote-unquote doing that with Logan's ending, and we're going to have Hugh Jackman's Wolverine right back in the MCU. So I think the temptation is too high. The cachet, the value is too high for bringing him back. And because you're bringing back all these characters too, I don't think it's as damaging to the legacy of Avengers Endgame and the Infinity Saga to see Tony Stark return, because all these other characters are too. You're not just doing it and bringing Tony Stark back, you're doing it in the context of all these other characters returning. Now, if you really want to hold your hat on his language and say he didn't deny it, well, that's not really different than what Robert Downey Jr. has been saying since day one. I know that podcast clip of him on Joe Rogan has been mega viral at this point, where he said never say never, because yeah, the right dollar amount, and like I said, there's always an opportunity there for both sides to do something very profitable. I just think the temptation will be too high. And apparently, Rob Lowe agreed with me, because this is what he had to say to Robert Downey Jr. in response. Quote, "You know what I say? The phone is going to ring, baby, and I want to be on that call. I want to be negotiating for you. I know what your deal is. Here's what you do. You go, I'll come back and play Tony Stark for you guys again, and since you effed everything up, I want $1 gazillion. I know what the number should be. I want first dollar gross from every ensuing movie. That's what I would do." And ironically, the thing that Rob Lowe is pointing out here is one of the only reasons I would believe that Tony Stark wouldn't return, and that's because Marvel Studios couldn't afford him. I can't even imagine what the budget on Avengers Secret Wars is going to be. If the budget on, say, Secret Invasion on Disney Plus was $250 million, when you take a budget to something like Avengers Secret Wars, and then you add in all the cameo pay, not only for the new actors in the MCU to come back, or the legacy actors in the MCU, but how about all the legacy actors from the Fox universe? Honestly, I have no idea what the budget on that film is going to be when you include marketing, but then you have someone like Robert Downey Jr. walk in and then increase it significantly by percentages. I just think that would be one of the only things that would hold him out, but there is a dollar amount, again, for both sides that makes sense. So while I want to believe Kevin Feige that they won't bring him back, I think they probably will. But guys, you let me know all your thoughts down below. Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you think that Kevin Feige is telling the truth, they won't bring Tony Stark back? And B, do you agree with me that it's probably a bad idea? If you had the choice to bring him back in Secret Wars or not alongside all the other heroes, do you want to see him pop out of the multiverse or not? I am all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel. We're going to give one away for every drop this year. Agatha Coven of Chaos, Deadpool and Wolverine, X-Men 97, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. All you got to do to be entered to win, and all the same rules will always apply for all the future giveaways. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will always be announced at the end of videos live with my voice in the comments shown on screen, so make sure to stay safe on every platform. If you should ever have someone claiming to be a content creator and telling you you've won in the comments, please just report that comment to YouTube. They're very good about blocking those accounts. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places: Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, under the name Allfires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around, we'll be posting again real soon.